This is the assignment for the 17th of October for Latin 1. It's chapter 11, Aeneas Didonio Currit. So the subject is Aeneas. Occurrit means runs into, literally. And whom he runs into is not, as we would expect, Didonem, with this em on the end, but Didoni. That is, we would say, occurrit has a dative object. Okay. So what I'd like you to do on the worksheet I've given you is, first of all, translate in the line below, Aeneas runs into Dido, and second of all, make sure you take note of the starred items that I'm going to emphasize in the video. Okay, so in this case, occuro takes a dative object, not an accusative object. I want to add that. Okay. So number 2, dum Trojani ac Sicilia ad Italiam navigant. So dum is a clause starter, means while. We'll get to those later. The subject is Trojani. What the Trojani are doing is navigant. A nave, as you remember, is a ship. A navis is a ship. So navigo means to sail on a ship, like our word navigate. The Trojans sail, and then from where is answered by a Sicilia, from Sicily, and to where is answered by ad Italiam, to Italy. Okay. So what I'd like you to write down is this as a note, is that dum is what's called a clause starter. A clause starter, a subordinate clause starter. There. The third card, venit magna tempestas. Magna tempestas is the subject. If you have plural tempests, you would have tempestates. That's the plural. Tempests. Okay. When it means goes or comes. In this case, it's comes. Magna means big. A big storm comes. So in this case, you would write down that the adjective of tempestas, storm, is the tempestuosa. This is a long O, therefore it's accented. So tempestuosa, osa means, or tempestuosus, depending on what ending is needed for an adjective. Osus means full of. Usually in English we write it like this, us. Tempestuous means literally full of storms, so you write all that down. You're going to have to pause the video, I think, or go over it twice. Next sentence, Iulus, Iulus rex ventorum. Rex ventorum is a positive. A positive, that it is placed in its modification, just like adjectives modify nouns. And a positive modifies a noun, in this case Iulus, uh, but it does it by apposition, by near placement. So ad in Latin, composition means near. And positio means position, placement. So Aeolus, comma, rex ventorum, a rex is a king, venti are the east, north, south, and southwest venti that blow through the world. Emittit, he emits. A means out, mittit means sends. So Aeolus sends out, and what he sends out are omnes eventos, all the winds. So write this part down, especially the definition of what is an appositive. Troiani in a magno periculo sunt. So the Troiani again are the subject, the T people. The verb is sunt, are, and what they are in is magno periculo, great peril. The Trojans are in great peril. Okay. Nothing really to write down there. Okay, nec cursum tenere possunt. Nec means nor. Subject is still the same. The same Trojans. They cannot, nor can they, you could say, tenere, hold course. Teneo means hold. We have a word tenet in English. A tenant is somebody, a tenant is something that, a belief usually, that you hold. So it's a belief as opposed to a tenant, which is somebody who lives in an apartment, for example. It would be a tenant, a tenet. So hold, as in we hold these truths to be self-evident. Okay, so write that one down. Handem at last venti, the nominative form of ventos, which we had before. So the subject this time, venti, and the verb pellunt, push, push, eos them ad terram ignotam, to an unknown land. Ignotam means unknown, terram, land, ad means to. The whole thing is a prepositional phrase. So the subject, verb, object are venti, pellunt, eos. We have lots of words in English meaning from this word pello, expel, for example. Push out, it means literally. Impel, push in, repel, push back, etc. Okay. So be sure and write down those forms. Okay, all of them there. Okay. Number 8, Troianae navibus exeunt. The Trojans exeunt, go out. E navibus, from their ships. Et, a second sentence, quiescunt, rest. And then where they rest? In litere, on the literal. So the Trojans are the subject. Exeunt, go out, is the verb. Then there's a second sentence, second clause. Understand the Trojans, they, quiescunt, rest, in litere, on the shore. A means out of, navibus means a ships, so you can figure that out. That's where they exit from. Let's see, what do I want you to... okay, just that quiescent means, in English, literally resting. Okay, so write that down. Resting, so usually something that's dormant, like a tumor, a quiescent tumor. Posterdie Aeneas constituit terram explorare. Posterdie means the next day. Next day. Aeneas is the new subject. Constituit is the verb. Decided. To it. Constituit. Decided. To do what? To explorare terram. To explore land. All it says is land. You would say the land, probably. Okay. And what I'd like you to note here, in addition to the translation, is that our words exploration we have this A here because explorare is the verb type that has a long A between the stem, plur, and the ending re, meaning to. Okay? So English spellings of these words are words derived from Latin are determined by things like that. You would also always accent the A of exploration in English because in Latin it's long. So you would say in Latin explorare and in English exploration. Okay, so there's two things. The stem vowel, I want you to note, the stem vowel in English determines why this has an A here. And the length, the quantity we say of this vowel determines that in English, just like in Latin, you would pronounce it exploration, not exploration, or something like that. Okay. Comitibus dicet, he says to his friends. So comitibus, let's write down, is the indirect object, or the dative object in Latin. Vos prope naves manete, you, manete, wait, prope naves, near the ships. So just make a note that te on the end of a verb means plural order form. Okay. Mi propositum est, it is my plan. Propositum means plan. To what? To procedere, to go, procedere, go. Okay. To go forth in terram, inland. To go inland. It is my propositum. Mihi is the dative of ego. Ego is the nominative. Mihi is the dative. Me is the accusative. Okay, so write those three things down in addition to the translation. Uno cum amico collem ascendit. So with one friend, he ascends the column, which is somewhat lower than a montem, but still a rise in the land, a hill. Et prospicit, so he looks out. This word order, which seems so peculiar, is actually should be familiar to you. To put the it's normal with cum clauses to put the adjective first, then the cum, then the noun. as in the phrase magna cum laude. Okay, with great praise, not great with praise. Okay, so write that part down. Magna cum laude, and why that's significant for the phrase uno cum amico. Multos homines vidit, he sees, vidit. Multos homines, many men. Qui, that. Qui is a relative pronoun. Write this down, please. Qui is a relative pronoun. And furthermore, write down that the preferred translation here is that. Also possible are who, okay, in this particular case. Okay, that edificant, build an urbem, a city, are building a city, propellitus, beside the literal, near the literal. Literal spelled like this. Had this several times already, literal. Aeneas eos diul spectate. Aeneas looks, spectate, looks at them, diu, for a long time. Aeneas looks at them for a long time. I told you before that about this rule, that if the vowel is long in Latin, as it is here, spectare, when there are words we take from Latin, we still pronounce them with the Latin accent. So we don't say spectator, but spectator. Okay, because this vowel is long. In Latin, you would pronounce a long vowel in this position. That's called, well, let's see, penult, penultima means next to, last, almost, pen, ultima, the last. Okay, so this syllable is called penultimate, the almost last, and it will be accented when it's long, as in the word spectator. O fortunate inquit, O fortunate ones, he says. Vos urbem jam aedificatis. So he's talking directly to them, so he uses this you form of the verb. You, it's plural, but that doesn't matter to us. You are building a city, and then an adverb now. And vos, just reinforcing the subject, you. It's just acts as a reinforcement. So here I just want you to make a special note that tis is a verb ending meaning you, plural. Nos semper nundis eramus. So this is a contrast between vos and nos. Okay, we are eramus, wandering, semper, always in undis, in the waves. We are wandering in, always in the waves. That is, we're always sailing around to places. So make a note of this kind of contrast. It has a name in Greek, but don't worry about that now. Making a special rhetorical contrast between you and we. Tandem colem descendit, at length. Descendit, the opposite of ascendit. The descendit's the column, the hill. Urbem intrat, he enters the city. Intrat. Et accedita ad magnum templum, and approaches the great temple, goes to the great temple, the large temple. In the templi muris multa pictura sunt, so the subject is pictura, picturae, pictures are, multi, many, and then where they are, in the templi muris, on the walls of the temple. So this is a normal word order for a prepositional phrase. You'll have the preposition, and then a modifier, in this case a genitive modifier. Okay, templum, or templum means temple in the nominative. The genitive form is this, the one we have here, templi. Okay. So preposition modifier if it's genitive, and then the object of the preposition, walls, on the walls of the temple. Okay. Muris, I want you to write down mural. Our murals must be written on walls or painted on walls because that's what the word means, mural. Second of all, note that extra mural sports, for example, are outside the walls, understand, of the school, as opposed to intramural, which are, strictly speaking, sports or events that take place within the walls. This is from a time when school grounds had walls. Okay. Aeneas pictura spectat. Aeneas looks at the pictures. Atanatus est. He is astonished. And then the last sentence for today. Nama picturae bellum Troianum describunt. Because they describunt, they describe, that is the pictures describunt bellum Troianum. Troianum. The pictures describe the Trojan War. Nam is explanatory. Explanatory. It answers the question, why? Why is he astonished? Because. Okay, that's all for now. We'll complete this the next time.